The brave little hedgehog in the heart of a vibrant meadow, where wildflowers bloomed in a sea of colors and the soft hum of bees filled the air, lived a little hedgehog named Henry. Henry had a coat of shiny, golden-brown quills that caught the sunlight and a nose that twitched whenever he was nervous, which was quite often. While the meadow was a place of peace and beauty, a dark forest loomed beyond its edge, casting long, mysterious shadows. Henry avoided it at all costs. The forest was a place of whispers, rustling leaves, and unseen creatures, and just the thought of it sent shivers down his spine. Henry loved his life in the meadow, where his best friends, Bella the bunny and Rudy the squirrel, kept him company. Bella was bold and adventurous, always hopping into new escapades. Rudy, with his bushy tail and knack for finding acorns, was the joker of the group. The trio often spent their days exploring the meadow, but they never ventured near the forest. It was an unspoken rule that none of them questioned, especially Henry. One warm evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and painted the sky in hues of orange and pink, Bella came bounding toward Henry's burrow, her ears twitching with urgency. "Henry," she called, skidding to a stop. "Rudy and Penny went into the forest, and they haven't come back." Henry froze. "The forest," he whispered, his quills trembling. "Yes," Bella said. "They went to look for the Firefly Grove, but it's been hours. They might be lost." Henry's first instinct was to curl into a tight ball and hope that Bella would come up with a plan. The forest was the last place he wanted to go, but then he thought about Rudy's cheerful laugh and Penny's sweet songs. His friends needed him. "I'll go with you," Henry said, his voice quaking. "We have to find them." Bella's eyes widened with surprise and admiration. "Really? Henry, that's so brave of you." Henry took a deep breath, trying to steady the wild thumping of his heart. "I don't feel brave, but we can't leave them out there alone." The meadow seemed to grow quieter as the two friends approached the edge of the forest. The tall grasses gave way to towering trees that blocked out the remaining light, leaving the ground dappled in shadows. Henry hesitated, his little feet rooted to the spot. "It's okay," Bella said gently, nudging him forward. "We'll stick together." As they stepped into the forest, the air grew cooler, and the rustling of leaves sounded louder in the stillness. Henry's eyes darted in every direction, half expecting a creature to leap out at them. But Bella's calm presence gave him a shred of courage, and he kept walking. After a while, they came across a hollow log, and inside, they found Rudy, his tail drooping and his paw scratched. "Bella." "Henry," Rudy exclaimed, his face lighting up. "I didn't think anyone would come." "What happened?" Bella asked, hopping closer. "I tripped on a root and hurt my paw," Rudy explained. "I couldn't walk and I didn't know which way to go." Henry felt a surge of warmth. He may have been scared, but he had made it this far. "We'll get you home," he said firmly. Rudy climbed onto Bella's back, and the trio continued deeper into the forest, following the faint sound of chirping. Penny's voice echoed through the trees, guiding them toward a low-hanging branch where the little bird perched, her feathers ruffled. "I flew too far and got lost," Penny said, her voice tinged with relief at the sight of her friends. "I've been calling for hours." "We're here now," Bella said reassuringly. Just as they were about to head back, a deep, menacing howl shattered the silence. Henry's heart raced as a pair of glowing eyes appeared in the shadows. A fox emerged, its sharp teeth glinting in the faint light. Bella froze, and Rudy clung tightly to her back. Penny fluttered up to a higher branch, her tiny body trembling. Henry stood rooted to the spot, fear gripping him like never before. But then he thought about his friends. They were counting on him. Summoning every ounce of courage, Henry puffed up his quills until they bristled like tiny swords. He took a step forward, placing himself between the fox and his friends. The fox crept closer, its gaze fixed on the group, but Henry didn't back down. With a deep breath, he rolled into a tight ball and launched himself toward the fox. His sharp quills brushed against the predator's nose, causing it to yelp in surprise. The fox backed away, its eyes flickering with hesitation, before finally turning and disappearing into the darkness. Henry uncurled himself, his tiny legs trembling. "It's gone," he said softly. Bella hopped over and hugged him tightly. "Henry, you saved us." "You were amazing," Rudy added, his tail flicking with admiration. Henry managed a small smile. "I was terrified," he admitted, "but I couldn't let it hurt you." The group quickly made their way back to the meadow, the stars guiding them through the forest's labyrinth. When they finally stepped into the open field, the familiar sounds of crickets and the soft rustling of grass welcomed them home. The next morning, the meadow buzzed with excitement as the animals gathered to hear the story of Henry's bravery. Bella and Rudy recounted how he had faced the fox and led them to safety. Henry shuffled his paws, his cheeks warm with embarrassment. "I wasn't brave," he said. "I was scared the whole time." "But that's what makes you brave," Bella said, her voice full of pride. "You kept going even though you were scared." Henry thought about her words and realized they were true. He had faced the dark forest, the fox, and his own fears to protect his friends. From that day on, Henry was no longer known as the timid little hedgehog. He became the brave little hedgehog, a symbol of courage and loyalty in the meadow. And while he still felt nervous at times, he knew that bravery wasn't about being fearless. It was about doing what needed to be done, even when fear tried to hold him back. As the sun set over the meadow, painting the sky in shades of gold and purple, Henry sat by the edge of the forest, his heart full of pride and his friends by his side. He had discovered a strength within himself that he never knew he had, and the world seemed just a little less scary.